Welcome back to Analytical Media. We are a consortium, a group of therapists, college professors, and well-published, peer-reviewed authors. Today's question: am I wasting time when I do something I love or like instead of work, or what I am supposed to be doing? That's the question. This is what a lot of people think, that you're put on this earth to work, in anything other than doing work. And I would put work in quotations: garden work, housework, the work at your job. This is why you're put on this earth. But the truth is, you're put on this earth to grow and develop. Of course, you need to work to maintain or sustain your body. You need a place to live. You need food. You need various things that will help you survive in this three-dimensional reality. And thus you go to work, you do something to get you the resources for you and your family to survive. But after that, you're free to do non-survival things, non-work things. Life is a mystery. You're born. You have no idea where you came from, do you? You have no idea what's going on. You have no idea what that big yellow thing in the sky is. You have no idea what your name is. You have no idea where you live. You can't walk. You can't even turn your head. You can't support yourself, your weight. You can't hold your head up. And it doesn't get a whole lot better after that. Yes, you learn to crawl, then you learn to walk. Then you learn sun for the big yellow thing in the sky. And you learn basic things that will allow you to survive in your culture. If you grew up in the jungle, if you're born in the jungle and you're growing up there, you learn not to go pet that 500-pound cat. It's not a little innocent kitten, a house cat. The big cats will eat you. If you grew up in a city, you learn you can't run out into the street, because those big 2,000-pound metal cats will run you over, kill you dead. You learn different skills depending on what culture you're growing up in. But still, you don't know much. After you learn your name and your street address and your phone number, what else is there? What are you supposed to do? What is it all about? Are you supposed to be a Jew? Are you supposed to be Hindu? Are you supposed to be Buddhist? You're supposed to be Christian? You're supposed to be Catholic, born again, Protestant? We don't know. You really don't know. And you tend to adopt what your parents tell you, what you grew up in. You adopt their values. You probably know that for many, many years, decades, and perhaps even true today, the best way to predict the outcome of a presidential election was to poll first graders and simply ask them, who would you vote for? And whoever they would vote for, the winner, would win the election the next day. Why? Because obviously they're voting for who their parents are going to vote for. That's where all their political affiliations come from. When they get to be 20, 21 and they condemn the other party, they hate the other people, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, they're the enemy. That's simply because your parents were one party and you grew up in that party and you adopted it and you adopted their values. So you need to think for yourself. In the meantime, as you're growing up, you may be anxious, severely so, cripplingly so. You might be depressed, very common, with a feeling of being lost. You can find your way to school and you can find your way to the 7-Eleven on the corner, but you can't find your way in life. You don't know how to get to a place where you're supposed to be because you don't know where that place is. And many of you feel that. Many of you listening to this right now have felt it or perhaps still do feel it. And that place that you need to go to is not the one that your sister went to or your brother went to, or your mother or your father have gone to. It's unique for you. If you have 3 sisters and they all became nurses, it doesn't mean that you should. Meaning, it doesn't mean that that would make you happy. To be happy, you have to match on the outside in this 3-dimensional world the being that exists on the inside, the real you, the person inside. And the things that please you, the things that you do that please you, those are the things that are going to take you to where you're supposed to be and where you're supposed to go. They will take you to your final destination. Not what your society tells you, not what your culture tells you, not what your mother tells you, and not what your sister did or your brother did, or your friends do. You're different. You're unique. And if you're just simply a hard worker and you've been indoctrinated by your parents and your culture, maybe your ethnicity, and you have to work, and become an overachiever, the curve breaker in the classroom, you may find that you can achieve and be a big success in school and work, but you're not happy. You're miserable, and your solution for that may be drugs. It may be marijuana, it may be cocaine, it may be crystal meth, it might be some legal prescribed antidepressant medication. With that, you could survive. Would you be happy? Probably not. The illegal drugs, you're always worse off for using them. And it includes alcohol. You have achieved nothing. You've just found a way to kill the pain to get through today, and a way to kill the pain tomorrow when you go through that day. You will get through the pain with that medication, knowing that, hey, I can drink at noon, I can drink it from my drawer at 2 o'clock, and I can get drunk after I drive home. Then I can go to bed and start over again. You won't be happy. You just found a way to survive, to go to work every day and make money and live up to the cultural expectations that were placed before you. To be happy, you need to develop the inner self, and to do that, you need to take all of that extra time, the time that you don't need for survival, to work, do work-related things, including cut the grass, work-related, cook dinner, work-related, clean the house, work-related. When those things are done, or done enough, it is not a waste of time for you to pursue your other interests, whether that is to watch old movies, old television shows, go to a museum and look at the art, look at books of art, look at the great paintings. It's not a waste of your time. It's the opposite. It's what you're meant to do. Do you dare, after all this inspiration from the movies, do you dare start to write a story? Do you dare start to write a novel? Yes. Will that make you happy? Yes. Some writers say, it's an old saying, it's an old adage perhaps, among writers, that they absolutely hate to write, but they totally love having written. Think about that. They hate the process of writing. Writing is not like eating potato chips. It's not fun. It's hard. It is work of sorts. And they don't like that. They try to avoid it. They try to procrastinate and not write. And there are many famous stories about that. However, once they've written, when they've got that page written or that chapter written, they'd love it. They'd love what they did. They'd love how it makes them feel. Same thing's true with painters, artists, sculptors, hang gliders, mountain climbers. It's hard work. It's a challenge. It's life-threatening to climb a rock face, but they love having done it. And they think about doing it again and finding another challenge. It's all part of growing who they are. It could be sports, becoming a better batter or a better quarterback. Not that you're going to play for a team, not that the NFL is going to want you. That's practical. We're not talking practical. We're talking about dealing with what's internal to you, what's in the unconscious. We're dealing with that. What about exercising, running? Is that a thoughtless thing? When you're running and all you're doing is running and you're not going anywhere, you're not running away from the tiger, you're not running to stake a claim on gold-bearing property, nothing practical about it. You're just running in circles, perhaps around the track or around the block. All you're doing is wearing out your shoes. You're not seeing anything new. Even that, are you unconscious when you run? No. You are thinking the entire time. Deep mental processes are going on inside your head. You're learning about yourself. You want to stop. And once again, when you do stop, when the agony of running is over, some people think that a runner achieves a meditative state, a different state of consciousness. And they do that because of the pain of running, the deep breathing, the constant pain. Many runners report that in the first few minutes of a run, everything in them says, stop, 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 stop. Oh, this is wrong. This hurts. This isn't good. Stop. But then they get past that. Within a few minutes, they get past that. Do they go to an altered state of consciousness? I think undoubtedly they do. Everything points towards that. And in this state of meditation, that's all meditation is an altered state of consciousness. That's all hypnosis is an altered state of consciousness. In this altered state, deep thinking processes will and can occur. So, should you go for a run? Yes. When you've gotten the basic things in life, you got the hole in the roof fixed, you got food to eat for dinner, you got the basic things done, you can go. Now, the kitchen floor could use washed, and that roof, the edge of the roof where the gutters are, that could use cleaned, but you don't need to do it now. So what I'm saying is it doesn't have to be perfect. All the work does not have to be done. You're smart enough to know what needs done today and what doesn't need done today. And thus, you can go for a run, or you can go to your typewriter or a word processor today and work on your novel. You can still write longhand sitting outside in the sun. People do. You can drive to a park, get out a notebook and start writing longhand your book, your novel, your poetry. You can go down into the room where you paint and your easel is set up and your canvas sits there. It's an agony challenge to make it work. A real artist knows that agony. He's always competing with himself. He's always trying to get better. And yet, so much of this comes from the unconscious. He doesn't know how to get there. And he too will go into an altered state of consciousness. And all real artists would tell you that. Some people would think it was a waste of time because you didn't make any money. You can't sell those paintings. Nobody would buy them. Well, we mentioned in another video that Vincent van Gogh only sold one painting in his entire life. He painted 2,000. He tried to sell 2,000, but he only sold one painting in his entire life. One out of 2,000. Nobody recognized him. He won no contests. He entered his painting in contests all the time. Never won a contest. His Starry Night painting, oil painting, is perhaps the most famous painting in the world. He painted because he wanted to. And you should paint because you want to. Or whatever it is you want to do. It could be looking for art in old television shows, studying the characters that were created in those shows, trying to explain why certain characters were so popular, and perhaps deeper than looking for archetypal characters in shows and seeing what fits the archetype and what doesn't. You have a more intellectual look at things. You're not wasting time watching television. You're in deep intellectual analysis. And that's not a joke. I remember reading Stephen King talking about a television show, The Fugitive. And if you're interested in art and you're interested in archetypal movements and psychology, you must watch The Fugitive. It was the most popular show of its time. The final episode had the biggest audience in history. In history. Stephen King said it was the best television show of all time. He recognized that. And Stephen King is no slouch. How much he's produced is unbelievable. Did he waste his time watching The Fugitive? Did he learn something? I say he must have. He must have. He wouldn't have wasted his time. It was productive. Not at first. Nothing came out of it. He didn't make any money watching The Fugitive. But he sure as hell has made a lot of money with what he's learned from watching, reading, analyzing reality. He's made a lot of money from that. And even if he didn't, there was no promise he would. There was no guarantees he was going to make money, that he'd be successful as a writer. He just followed that drive that came from within him. And that is exactly what you need to do. You are not wasting time, especially if you have a drug problem. If you have a drug problem, you are self-medicating. And let's separate out alcohol, even though alcohol is a drug, because most people do separate it. It's drugs and alcohol, when really it's just drugs. If you have the alcohol problem, if you survive by having 4 or 5 beers every night or 3 or 4 shots, and you celebrate Christmas Eve with a drink, you celebrate Christmas Day, the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ, you celebrate that with a drink. When your friends come over on Christmas Day, you give them more alcohol. If preparing for the Christmas holidays means stopping at the liquor store, something's wrong here. And what's wrong is you are self-medicating. You couldn't have a good time at Christmas or at that birthday party or New Year's Eve if you weren't high. If you weren't high, you'd go home. You'd say, I don't want to be here with a bunch of idiots. These people, I don't like these people much. They're walking around, smiling, laughing, grabbing me, hugging me. I don't even like these people. But when I'm drinking, I do. I can join in and pretend we're all having a great time. If you're depressed, so if you're a drug addict, if you're depressed, if you're anxious, if you have mental problems, mental health problems, that you recognize. I'm not saying that your mother says you need help. I'm saying you think life should be better than this. There's more to life. Then you need to start, quote unquote, wasting time. You need to recognize that inner voice, the inner drive, because it is a drive. It's a drive to do this. You try this, doesn't do anything for you. You try that. There's something inside that says, I like this. It could be starting a business. It could be that. It could be climbing a mountain. It could be climbing a wall. It could be going for a run. Because as I said, you're not a machine. It's not like your brain shuts off when you're walking or you're watching television or you're going for a run or you're climbing a mountain or you're hanging by 3 fingers over sharp rocks 50 feet below you, and that next hand move placement had better be just right or you're dying. You know that, but there's something about that. Your brain does not shut off. Your mind does not stop. It doesn't stop on your way over to the rock, during the climb, or on the way home. It doesn't shut off. You're thinking the whole time. Different things. It's all coming from inside you. Are you getting the same thing from climbing a rock face as Stephen King got from watching The Fugitive? Maybe. Seriously, maybe. It's promoting self-growth. I haven't talked to Stephen King, and to be brutally honest, I didn't like his early work. He probably didn't like his early work either, in my opinion. However, the later stuff I did like. I think he achieved something that he had always wanted to achieve in all his later work. So if it's good enough for Stephen King, it's probably good enough for you and me. In all seriousness, you don't have to understand individuation and self-actualization. You don't even need to know the terms, who created them, what it means to participate in self-actualization and individuation. It's that self-growth. And the only thing that stands in the way that's going to hurt you, I'm telling you right now, I got to be honest with you, I can't sugarcoat it, or the only thing that's going to stop you getting away from that self-growth is going to be something that numbs you, like drugs or alcohol. It numbs you. It makes life bearable. It was the only painkiller they had before the 1800s. Going to cut off your arm? They tried to get you drunk. Because they didn't have any anesthesia. They couldn't put you to sleep. They tried to get you drunk. You know, farmer works in a field all day long picking up rocks. His back hurts. His knees are twisted. He doesn't have quite enough food for the family. Not quite enough. He just scrapes by working all the time. In the evening, thank God, he had some wine he could drink to numb it a little bit, to take away the pain from his knee, to relax his back a little bit. And that's okay. But we don't want to numb your conscious mind. It's okay to take away the physical pain, but we don't want to take away your drive to self-actualize or to become somebody special or to simply grow. You know, you got that urge to go down and paint. Of course, the basement's cold. The light's not real good. It smells a little after you get the thinner out for your oil paints. You want to do it. You really want to. You want to do it. Like, I'm going to do it. Yeah, it's cold. I'll be cold. You know, my knees are going to ache after I've been standing up for 3 hours. And, you know, but I want to do it. I always like doing it when it's over. I like what I did. I like what I learned. And then you go do it. Or you say, yeah, I'm going to go down a little bit, but first I'm going to have a beer. So you drink that beer. Then you say, you know, I really enjoyed that beer. Let me have one more. So then you drink another one, sip it. Then you say, it's getting too late to get downstairs. I'm not going down now. I don't want to stand here in the cold. Why? Because you numbed the drive for self-actualization, self-expression. You numbed it with that alcohol. No, alcohol is not your friend. And drugs, cocaine is certainly not your friend. Crystal meth is your enemy. And if what I say to you can make a difference because you're on the edge, you do drink a little, or you're on the edge of wanting help. You know, you've been addicted to cocaine or heroin or Dilaudid or fentanyl. Maybe what you just heard is enough to get you into therapy, into rehab, which will work. Don't think it won't. It will work. You got to want it to work, though. If you're ready, they're ready for you. You're not wasting time when you're working on your inner being. When you're working on your individuation or self-actualization, that is not a waste of time. It's your job. This is Analytical Media. Please help us help other people. I hope today's video helped somebody, gave you some education, gave you something to think about, something to talk about maybe with your friends. Maybe it's giving you direction. Maybe it's helping. Well, remember, you can help other people. If it helped you in any way, or if you care about other people to any degree, like this video, comment on it, share it, because it'll get pushed out by YouTube to more people. It's as simple as that. I hope you've enjoyed our videos. I hope you keep coming back. We hope that it's making a difference. That's why we're putting all the effort into this. Having said all that, we wish you the best of luck. We wish you Godspeed, and we will see you soon.